Throughout the history, some betrayals have left the world utterly stunned. These were the moments when trust was shattered, alliances crumbled, and the unexpected took center stage. In this video, we'll explore 4 shocking betrayals that shook nations, changed destinies, and continue to captivate us with their tales of deception, cunning, and incredible twists that reshaped history. In the early 1950s, the Cold War was in full swing. The United States and Soviet Union were locked in a fierce ideological struggle, and the fear of communism was at its peak. Enter Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, an American couple with leftist political leanings, who would become central figures in a Cold War drama. Julius Rosenberg, an engineer in the US Army Signal Corps during World War II, had access to classified information. His job at the Army Signal Corps engineering laboratories made him an enticing recruit for the Soviet spies who approached him on Labor Day 1942. Late in 1944, Julius became a recruiter for the Russians and oversaw several spies himself, including the one who would cause Julius's downfall, his brother-in-law, David Greenglass. Greenglass worked on the Manhattan Project at Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico. In 1950, the couple was accused of being a part of Soviet spy ring, allegedly passing crucial atomic secrets to Soviets. The charges were serious, and trial that followed would capture the attention of an entire nation. The trial took place in 1951, and the prosecution's star witness was none other than Ethel's brother, David Greenglass. Greenglass, who had worked on the Manhattan Project, testified that Julius and Ethel played a pivotal role in passing classified information to the Soviets. The atmosphere was charged with the anti-communist sentiment, and the Rosenbergs staunchly maintained their innocence throughout. The Rosenberg case quickly became a lightning rod for controversy. Many supporters argued that the evidence was weak and the couple was unfairly targeted in the midst of anti-communist hysteria. Others, however, believed that the Rosenbergs were indeed guilty of espionage. The world watched as international protests and appeals for clemency poured in, but despite the outcry, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg were sentenced to death on June 19, 1953. They were executed in the electric chair at Sing Sing prison in New York. The Rosenberg case remains a haunting chapter in Cold War history. Was it a miscarriage of justice, or were the Rosenbergs guilty of betraying their own country? The debate continues, fueled by declassified Soviet documents and decrypted messages from the Venona project. As we reflect on this dark period, it serves a reminder of the complex and often tragic consequences of ideological conflicts. The assassination of Julius Caesar is a pivotal event in the Roman history that took place in the Ides of March. It marked a culmination of series of political tensions and conspiracies in Rome, ultimately leading to the downfall of one of the most influential figures in Roman history. Julius Caesar, a military general, statesman, and dictator, had risen to prominence through a series of military conquests, eventually crossing the Rubicon River in an act that precipitated a civil war and resulted in his becoming the de facto ruler of the Rome. Caesar's increasing power and his aspirations to be declared dictator perpetuum raised concerns among the Roman Senate and aristocracy. A group of Roman senators led by Gaius Cassius Longus and Marcus Junius Brutus conspired to eliminate Caesar, fearing that he was undermining the Roman Republic and establishing a monarchy. The conspirators believed that the assassination would restore the traditional Roman political system. On one morning on 44 BC, Julius Caesar attended a meeting of the Senate at the Theater of Pompey. The conspirators, including some senators who were close to Caesar, gathered under the pretext of discussing important matters of state. As Caesar entered the Senate, he was surrounded by the conspirators, and the plan was set in motion. According to historical accounts, Caesar was stabbed multiple times, with each conspirator taking part in the attack. The exact number of stab wounds varies in different accounts, but is generally reported to be around 23. The most famous account of Caesar's last moments comes from William Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar, in which Caesar utters the famous words, "And you, Brutus," as he recognizes Brutus among his assassins. The assassination did not have the intended effect of restoring the Roman Republic. Instead, it plunged the Rome into further political turmoil. Mark Antony, a loyal supporter of Caesar, delivered a funeral oration that turned public sentiment against the conspirators. The power struggle that ensued eventually led to the rise of Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir, and the formation of the triumvirate with Mark Antony and Marcus Lepidus. The assassination of Julius Caesar is often considered a turning point in Roman history, marking the end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire under the rule of Caesar's grandnephew and adopted son Octavian, later known as Augustus. Judas Iscariot's betrayal of Jesus. The betrayal of Jesus Christ by Judas Iscariot is a significant event in Christian theology, specifically in the context of the New Testament. The details of this betrayal are primarily found in the Gospels of the Bible, particularly in the accounts of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Judas Iscariot was one of the 12 disciples chosen by Jesus to be part of his inner circle. He held the position of the treasurer among the disciples and was entrusted with the group's money. Despite being a close follower of Jesus, Judas commonly depicted as the one who betrayed him. The Gospels describe the betrayal occurring during the Passover feast in Judaism. Judas made a secret agreement with the chief priests who were seeking an opportunity to arrest Jesus without causing a public uproar in the exchange for 30 pieces of silver. Judas agreed to lead them to Jesus in a way that would allow for his arrest. The Gospel of Matthew narrates the betrayal scene like this. While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a large crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. "The one I kiss is the man, arrest him." Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. Judas identified Jesus to the authorities by using a customary greeting, kissing him on the cheek. This intimate act of betrayal marked Jesus as the one they were to apprehend. The armed crowd then arrested Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, an event that eventually led to his trial, crucifixion, and resurrection. You might be wondering what was the motives behind Judas' betrayal. The motives behind Judas' betrayal have been a subject of theological debate. Some interpretations suggest that Judas was motivated by greed, as he accepted 30 pieces of silver for his betrayal. Others argue that Judas may have been disillusioned with Jesus, expecting him to establish a political kingdom rather than a spiritual one. Following the arrest of Jesus, Judas experienced profound remorse for his actions. In the Gospel of Matthew, it is stated, "When Judas, who had betrayed him, saw that Jesus was condemned, he was seized with great remorse and returned the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and the elders. 'I have sinned,' he said, 'for I have betrayed innocent blood.' 'What is that to us?' they replied. 'That's your responsibility.' So Judas threw the money into the temple and left. Then he went away and hanged himself. The fate of Judas Iscariot is often portrayed as tragic, representing the consequences of betrayal and the weight of guilt. Different Christian denominations and theological traditions offer varying perspectives on the spiritual significance of Judas' actions and his ultimate destiny. The betrayal of Jesus by Judas is a crucial aspect of the Passion narrative, reflecting themes of loyalty, betrayal, and redemption that resonate deeply within Christian theology and tradition. The betrayal of the Knights Templar is a historical event that unfolded in the early 14th century, marking the dramatic downfall of one of the most powerful and influential medieval military forces. The Knights Templar, originally founded in the early 12th century, played a significant role in the Crusades and amassed immense wealth and influence over the years. However, their wealth and power eventually became a source of envy and suspicion. The Knights Templar, initially formed to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land, became a formidable force in the medieval world. They established a vast network of financial infrastructure, including banking systems, and amassed significant land holdings and treasures. As the order grew in wealth and power, tensions arose between the Knights Templar and the King Philip IV of France. The king, facing considerable debts and seeking to consolidate power, saw an opportunity to eliminate a powerful rival and seize the Templars' considerable assets. In the October of 1307, King Philip ordered the simultaneous arrest of many Templars throughout France. The charges against them included heresy, blasphemy, financial corruption, and idolatry. The arrests extended beyond France to other regions where the Templars held influence. Following the arrest, the Templars were subjected to brutal interrogations and torture. The methods employed aimed at extracting confessions and tarnishing the order's reputation. Many Templars confessed to various charges under duress. Pope Clement V, initially hesitant to act against the Templars, eventually succumbed to pressure from King Philip. The Pope disbanded the order through a series of papal bulls, including Vox in Excelso and AD Providem. The Templar properties and assets were seized by the Church and the monarchy. Many Templars faced execution and the others were imprisoned. Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master of the Order, and Geoffroy de Charny were among those who were eventually burned at the stake in 1314. The legend has it that as they faced their execution, de Molay cursed King Philip and Pope Clement, both of whom died within a short time. The fall of the Knights Templar left an indelible mark on history. The mystery surrounding their supposed hidden treasures and the legends of their enduring influence have fueled countless myths and conspiracy theories. The true motivations behind King Philip's actions remains debated among historians, with theories ranging from political and financial motives to accusations of heresy. The betrayal and downfall of the Knights Templar stands as a cautionary tale about the intersection of power, wealth, and politics in the medieval world. The tragic fate of the order continues to captivate the imagination and intrigue historians and enthusiasts alike.